When your dog looks at you in that quiet, almost human way, most people think it means one simple thing. They want food. They want to go out. They want something. But sometimes, that stare is doing more than asking. Sometimes, it's your dog trying to reach you without a sound, and the deeper reason can change the way you see them forever. You know the look. They stop. They hold your eyes for a second too long. Not playful, just focused, still, and serious. It feels like they're trying to tell you something, and the truth is, they often are, just not always in the simple way owners assume. A lot of people treat staring like a request button. My dog is looking at me, so they must want something obvious. And yes, sometimes they do. Dogs learn that eye contact gets your attention. But that explanation is only the surface. Dogs don't look at you the same way every time. Some looks are quick, some are hopeful, some are soft, some are heavy. And that difference matters more than most owners realize. Dogs are not just watching what you do, they're watching who you are in that moment. They read your face, posture, speed, and mood. Long before you speak, your dog is already studying the emotional weather around you. So when they hold your gaze, it is not always a demand. Sometimes it is emotional checking. They are trying to understand what kind of moment this is and how safe or calm they should feel inside it. Because when your dog checks your face before making sense of their own feelings, your emotional state has become part of their map of the world. Your expression helps them decide whether to relax, wait, come closer, or stay alert. What looks like a simple stare can actually be your dog asking, "How are we right now?" Sometimes the stare comes when nothing is happening. No leash, no treats, no obvious need. They just sit near you and look. Most people brush that off, but in those quiet moments, your dog may not be asking for a thing. They may be checking for connection itself, just making sure the bond is still there, warm and open. Dogs use closeness in tiny ways: a lean against your leg, a sigh near your feet, a glance from across the room, a silent walk to wherever you are. The stare belongs to that same emotional language. It can be a soft way of reaching for reassurance without creating noise around it. Just a quiet, "I feel better when I know you're with me." That is why the stare can feel so personal. Your dog is choosing your face. They are returning to the one place that helps them read safety and closeness at the same time. It was never just attention-seeking. Sometimes it is trust taking visual form. And trust in dogs is not loud. It is built in repetition. In all the small moments when your dog learned that your presence means comfort, routine, relief, and calm after uncertainty. Over time, your face stops being just a face. It becomes a signal. So when they look at you like that, they may be leaning on something much deeper than habit. If this is making you see your dog differently, subscribe, because the meaning behind this stare gets even more personal from here. One reason the stare feels so intense is because dogs often use eye contact when they are holding something in emotionally. They may feel unsure, unsettled, hopeful, attached, or in need of direction. And instead of exploding into action, they pause and look to you first. That pause is important. It means your dog has learned that before they react to the world, they can come through you. Most owners think communication starts when the dog barks, paws, whines, or jumps. But often it starts before that. The stare is the earlier layer, the quieter layer. It can be the moment right before your dog decides whether they are okay, before they move closer, before they settle down, before they ask more clearly. In that sense, your dog may be telling you something long before it becomes obvious. And sometimes what they are saying is not, "Give me something." Sometimes it is, "Stay with me for a second." This matters even more if your dog tends to look at you when the room feels strange, when a sound happens outside, when guests arrive, or when your energy shifts. In those moments, they are not just gathering information, they are using you as emotional reference. Dogs often settle around the people they trust. Their uncertainty can soften when your calm feels real. So a stare in those moments may be less about the outside world and more about your dog asking, "Should I feel safe right now?" That is not weakness. That is attachment. A dog who watches you closely is often showing how much your presence shapes their internal state. They are not just near you, they are organized around you. Your movements matter. Your tone matters. Even your silence matters. And once you understand that, the stare stops looking random. It starts looking like reliance. But here is the part many people miss. A dog can also stare at you when they are trying to understand your sadness, stress, or distance. Owners sometimes notice this after a hard day. They come home quiet, they sit down, and the dog just watches them. Just that deep, searching look. Most people think the dog is confused, but often they are reading change. Dogs may not understand the story in your head, but they notice the shift in your body, your rhythm, your attention. And when your dog stares during those moments, it can be a kind of emotional check-in. Not because they have words for pain, but because they know something in you feels different. That is part of what makes this behavior feel so haunting. It is not only that your dog wants to be understood, sometimes they are trying to understand you too. And now we get to one of the deepest meanings of all. When your dog looks at you softly, without urgency, especially in still moments, they may be showing vulnerability, not just awareness. Eye contact in dogs is not always casual. In the right context, it is exposure. A dog who feels unsafe does not usually linger in soft connection. They scan, they avoid, they stay guarded. But a dog who rests in your gaze is often doing something far more intimate. They are letting themselves be emotionally open in your presence. That is why the stare can feel almost too human, because beneath the behavior is something very close to surrender. Not helplessness, something more beautiful than that. A willingness to stay emotionally uncovered near you, to not armor up, to not leave the moment, to simply remain there and let you see them. Hold on to that, because there is one more layer that changes everything. If your dog has always looked at you this way, the meaning may be trust, attachment, and quiet emotional reliance. But if that stare suddenly becomes more frequent, more intense, or oddly different, don't brush it off. Sometimes a change in staring behavior can mean your dog is unsettled, uncomfortable, confused, aging, or trying harder than usual to communicate that something feels off. Not every serious look means something is wrong, but a change in the pattern matters. Because once you know that staring is part of your dog's emotional language, you stop reducing it to habit. You start asking better questions. Are they seeking reassurance more than usual? Are they less settled, more clingy, more watchful? That shift can tell you a lot before louder signs appear. So the next time your dog looks at you like they want to say something, don't rush past it. Don't reduce it to begging too quickly. Look at the moment around the look. Look at the softness, the stillness, the timing. Because your dog may not be asking for a treat, or the door, or a toy. They may be asking for connection, for reassurance, for help reading the moment. Or they may be quietly telling you that your face is where they go to feel safe. And once that really sinks in, the stare stops being strange. It becomes one of the clearest emotional sentences your dog knows how to make. A silent way of saying, "I'm with you. I'm reading you, and somehow, in this world, you are where I look when I need to feel okay."